I do know that I've been slacking the gaming department, so I made a better effort this Sunday to sort of rekindle the co-op playthrough that I have going with Tom with Dark Souls 1 Remastered.
Nice.
We skipped a couple Sundays. One was for obvious reasons, the power outage, and then a couple others I think we just kind of forgot about. But yeah, we got back to it, and man, it was eventful. We usually try to start in the morning, early, because Tom is usually up at like 4:20 a.m. on a Sunday. I'm not even joking. And he has a bedtime of 4:20 p.m. So, so that's kind of his routine. I'm exaggerating, but needless to say, we fired it up. We had to kind of get our bearings again because it had been, obviously a couple weeks since we played, and it was a lot of fun. We finished up a section called Anne Orlando, which is one of the locations in the game that is quite challenging. We had to spend quite some time there, just again getting our bearings, dealing with invaders. And then finally getting to the boss and beating the boss on both of our worlds. And when I say worlds, it's because we have to do it on his, and then we have to do it on mine. So it's this game of like going back and forth, and it sounds really tedious, and it kind of is, but it's fun. And if you like the game as much as Tom and I do, then it's not a nuisance.
So when you say like your worlds, like, can you kind of like explain what you mean by that?
Sure. So if I'm alive, if I'm alive in the game, which means that I have a humanity and I've reversed my hollowing, then I can summon Tom into my world. So I can literally bring his character into my map or area, and he can fight with me. He can go throughout the whole level with me, and if he dies, then I just have to summon him again. And that is what we call playing in my world. If I play in his, it's the same sort of thing. I can be alive or dead, and he can summon me as long as he's alive. So it's kind of an interesting system. It's fairly straightforward, but it can get a little confusing when you go to try to summon Tom, and then his sign doesn't appear, and you're like, oh, right, I'm still hollowed. Whoops. And then you got to go back to a bonfire, take a humanity if you don't have one equipped, reverse your hollowing, get alive, and then summon him. So there are rules behind how you can summon. So that's what we did. We fought Smo and Ornstein, which are two of the toughest bosses in the game, probably in the entire franchise's history. Very challenging, but if you have a good rhythm going and you can pick up a third person, it can make the fight a lot more easy. So we did that, and then we went to another level called the Painted World of Ariamis. Always a tough one to say, but I think that's how it's pronounced, and pretty cool. You can enter this painting within Anne Orlando, which kind of opens up a portal into that world, and it's this really cool, frozen, dark world where you kind of enter in, and you're on a bridge that's covered in ice and snow, and you can hear like werewolves howling in the background. It's got a really eerie tone, very similar to Bloodborne, I'd say. And we had a pretty easy go in there. It can be challenging with some of the enemies, but we did quite well. We fought some mini bosses and some invaders. We were really messing with one of the invaders because he kept invading our world and occasionally killing one of us or both of us. So Tom goes, dude, follow me over here. And he was able to figure out where he was spawning in when he would invade us. And he stood right behind his spawn point. So when the guy would spawn in, he wouldn't know that Tom was behind him. And then Tom was just totally cheesing him with this miracle that's called Wrath of God, where like when he activates it, it just creates this area of effect attack that is incredibly strong and cheap. And when this guy poured it in, I remember one of the times that we killed him, he came in and I hid. So Tom and I play these like really sneaky games with invaders. So he'll be like, all right, dude, go hide over there. There's somebody coming. And I'll hide. And then when the invader sees Tom, he thinks that Tom's the only one in the world. But turns out I'm hiding around the corner. So I'll come out and just stab him in the back a couple times. And the guy just gets absolutely toasted.
That's hilarious.
So we play a lot of invader games. Fans that are listening to the show now that have played the Soul series will know exactly what I'm talking about. it's a dog eat dog environment when it comes to invaders and invading. So we did that, and we fought the boss a few times in that level, and we did a few other things. And believe it or not, just doing what I had explained just now took at least, let's see, we probably started at 8:30, 9 a.m. We weren't done until 12-ish. So
wow,
it takes time.
It's a pretty lengthy session for you.
Yeah, the worlds are big, and if you die, you have to do certain things, and it's not like you're playing Apex Legends or Call of Duty where you just kind of respawn and just do it again. There are things that you have to kind of redo, reset, and unless you have a good rhythm going, it can take some time because you're doing the same thing on each person's world. So it's like you're helping me go through a level, and then I help you go through a level. It's that simple.
It's just very bizarre to me. Like, I would think that, if you're going through the same level, whether it's your world or his world, it would qualify for both. But, if they got a system down that works, then, who am I to say? I've never played the games.
Yeah, well, the idea behind summons really, from a game developer perspective, is that you're supposed to summon people when you're having an issue or you're having a hard time with a boss or an area. You look for a summon sign, you bring that person in, they help you through it, and then you're on your own again. It's not really designed to be a co-op game from a true sense. Something like Portal 2 is obviously a co-op game.
Right.
But it can be done, and we have figured out how to do it, and it can just create this really memorable journey where Tom and I can sit there for hours, telling people about all of the crazy things that we did over the years. And we're going through everything. We're doing 2 after this, then we're going to do 3, and then finally, hopefully, we're going to finish Bloodborne.
Does Sekiro have any sort of mode like this?
Not that I'm aware of. He mentioned also that there might be an easy mode now, because I had stressed to him how much I want to finish that game, and still having obviously a lot of challenges with it. So if there is an easy mode, I may pull a Final Fantasy VII Sephiroth and go ahead and turn that easy mode on and get that game completed, because I love that game, but man, the challenge makes me want to cry, and I don't want to cry.
Yeah.